Hey guys, so Jordan Peterson, he seems to be he always gets a lot of hate from people that are, I don't know, atheists, anti-theists, whatever you want to call them, skeptic community. And it's usually whenever he comes out and makes some tweets about religion or kind of old values that he thinks would work and that we should follow, etc. And he made a tweet the other day, yesterday, that really seemed to trigger people like atheists, anti-theists, etc. And it was with all the accusations of sexual assault emerging, e.g., Louis C.K., we're going to soon remember why sex was traditionally enshrined in marriage. And this totally like triggered a lot of people on my feed on Twitter. And you just see people like, oh my God, look, how could you take this idiot seriously? Why do people even like this guy? Etc. Like, marriage is bad. Lots of rape happens in marriage, and in the past, women weren't allowed to speak out, and they had to take it, etc. Blah blah blah, bringing up their own experiences or fucking anecdotes, etc. But he's not saying that everything that included marriage in the past was good and everything was good. We should go back to exactly the way it is. And this is what a lot of people tend to do when you're bringing up things in the past that work better. Like, you want to move to a smaller government with less this and less that. And people will be like, yeah, but back then there was slavery. So you want to go back to slavery now? It's like, no, you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? He's pretty much saying that marriage is a good thing, as in it reduces the amount of sexual assault and these types of things that happen. Yes, there's still sexual assault in marriage, but the statistics show essentially that married men today, at the least, are more attached, more focused to work, so they're less likely to quit their job. They actually stay in work. They have less substance abuse. They're not fucking drug addicts. They don't rely as much on people's assistance and help to get by, because that's typically what drug users do. So, and then there's less crime. They do less crime, so that means less abuse, sexual assault, especially towards other women. And then they have better health, so they live longer, which is good. And they're less accident prone. So marriage does do a lot of things, and there was bad in marriage in the past, but that doesn't mean it still doesn't have a lot of value. And people in the atheist community, skeptics, get really mad whenever you bring up stuff to do with religion and how maybe they made some decent points, right? Like, I think what a lot of these anti-theists that really hate any type of religion, especially Christianity and stuff, is they got to realize that, over thousands and thousands of years, humans have developed, ideologies, belief systems, and ways to live life, to live to the most maximum capacity or whatever you can. So marriage is something that pretty much every society has figured out, that this is something that does help your civilization stay together. Like, look at society right now with all the single mothers and all this stuff. That's not good for society. That makes your men especially way more prone to violence when they grow up in a single mother household. They're more prone to be poor, all these different things. So just, even if you're poor and you have a mother and a father at home, or not at home all the time, but just a mother and a dad, then you're way more likely not to be a criminal, not to do all this shit that if you grew up in a single parent household, that you would be more likely to do. So marriage is something that does help society stay together, and is something that, we nowadays have just kind of like brushed off and have said like, oh no, it has to do with religion and these old ideas and all this stuff. But it's like, they figured out some things that work, and that is one of the things that work, right? There's a lot of things they thought that they discovered, or they thought worked as well, that doesn't work that well anymore. But that doesn't mean they didn't figure out some things that still work. So I think all this hate that he gets is just fucking bullshit and nonsense, and it just shows the dogmatism of a lot of these anti-theists, that like, they've already come to the conclusion that everything in religion is bad or something. So they can't stand whenever it's portrayed in a semi-decent light. And it's like, yes, there was a lot of bad things involved in marriage in the past, but that doesn't mean there wasn't good things involved with it as well. So why throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? And, Jordan Peterson is actually doing things. He's actually, changing minds, going out there and doing shit, whereas a lot of these people are just criticizing people. They don't do anything. They just, this guy's an idiot. The people on the right are idiots. People on the left are idiots. I'm in the middle. I'm a centrist. Everybody's an idiot but me. It's like, man, we gotta figure out what has worked in history and society, even if it is tied to religion. We should still try to use it, right? And there's so much propaganda about marriage going on right now that it's bad and women are happier when they're single and all this shit, where that's not even true. Women are less happy than they were before when they were married, right? So, this is biological also. Like, if you take women away from raising children, like, this is something that we've all been, through evolution, programmed to do, right? It is more natural for women to, stay at home. I'm not saying that's the way it should be, and I want to be all traditionalist because, we live in a new time and stuff, and also it's just not feasible anymore because of the way the economy works, and people can't raise a family anymore with just one person working. And if the economy was better, then we could move back towards this type of life. But until, we get off of fiat currency and we have our government stop printing money, creating all this crazy inflation, and we go back to a more free market, smaller government system, then we can actually go back to, people actually staying home if they want to raise the kids. Because a lot of women, I think, today are propagandized to be like, no, it's bad. You're a failure if you stay home and raise your kids. But it's like, that is probably one of the most important jobs there is. And you're not a failure, right, if you raise your kids and stay home. And a lot of women, like I said, feel this way now just because of society telling them, like, hey, you're useless if that's all you do, and you're not good, this and that. But it's like, whatever you pursue, if you do pursue a career, that's fine too. But we shouldn't demonize either group for the choices they make, right? And we should, show the benefits of marriage as well, and not completely just bring up all the bad things that happen with it, because that's all the atheists are doing right now, and the anti-theists, and jumping down his quote. They're taking it hyper literally, and they're like not looking at it nuance whatsoever. They're like, oh, so you're saying everything to do with marriage is good? It's like, no. But clearly the statistics show that men are less violent, all this other shit, when they are married. So stop getting fucking triggered by Jordan Peterson. He's actually doing something, you're not. And, as an atheist myself, I still respect him a lot. I think he's makes a lot of valid points, and I don't agree with practically everything, but it's really stupid to attack him when he is definitely on our side and is not, going to wants to create a society where people are oppressed, right? So, go fuck yourselves and, give this guy a little bit more support, because he deserves it, instead of, people who just like to criticize everybody. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.